What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN. Tonight we are doing our interview series. I feel like I want to rename this one because it's called Before They Blow Up. But there's a lot of people that know the guest that is coming on tonight, so I feel like he's already there in his own right, you know. So we're gonna have us a good show. Talented guy. Seen him in action a couple of times, and even if I go to a show and he's not in action, I still see this man. So tonight we have a very special guest coming to us, and his name is Mr. DL Hartley. Mr. Hartley, how are you doing, sir?
Doing all right. I was jamming out to that intro music. I really was. I'm glad I wasn't on camera because you would have seen me driving and everything. But...
I was too, but they couldn't see it. I always jam out to it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you're a busy guy, and even when you're not busy, you're busy. So your time means a lot to me.
Oh, absolutely. I actually got to go to work right after this. So
we got to get you in and out.
No, my employees can wait. It'll be all right.
That's cool, man. Cool, man. So let's kick this off. My standard question I like to start this out with is, how did you fall in love with wrestling, and what is your favorite moment as a wrestling fan?
That's a deep question right off the bat. My background is I'm half Hispanic, so coming from a Hispanic household, I had Dallas Cowboys and wrestling on all the time, no matter what it was.
Really?
So I was outside playing all the time, and people tell me to come in. My grandma said, "Hey, hurry up and get in here and eat." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll come in to eat." I got 14 cousins in the same house. But every time we get around, we don't sit at the dinner table. We were just on the couches, on the floor, just watching wrestling, flipping through WCW and WWE on Mondays. And I didn't know what was really going on.
Really?
But I knew I was going. I was like, okay, they're fighting. They're throwing people around, and they have the costumes and everything. Everything's cool. Well, I remember a lot of matches during my time throughout the years, but the very first one that comes to my mind is the Cactus Jack debut for WWE. Whenever I was watching one man on Titantron, and I saw the same man wearing a different outfit, and then the third man came through, and I was like, "What is this?" And he comes out with a trash can, and I'm just going crazy with what's going on. I was just glued to that.
Yeah.
So once that happened, I was always asking my uncle, because he was the host. We get together at his house. He barbecue all day, every day. That's how I got so big, barbecue. He actually bought a second TV for pay-per-views when the Dallas Cowboys were playing on primetime, and there was a WWE pay-per-view. And he had one for the kids, so we would shut up and watch wrestling, and then he'd go watch football. But it was really nice having that blow up with just family aspect of just gathering around and getting together. And we were a big family, and it was spanning Snyder, Abilene, Killeen. We would always get together in Snyder, and that's just how we were at my grandpa's house, and wrestling and football.
That's awesome, man.
I believe you also said a moment as a fan.
Yep.
Okay. So I feel like when I've heard these questions before, that they're answered like as an audience, like what do I like in the audience? If I was a fan in the audience, what's my favorite moment? So with me growing up, as the majority of kids do, they have trampolines, and we want to have fun on the trampoline.
Yeah.
And I believe I was around, I want to say 11 or 12, whenever my mom got me a trampoline for Income Tax. So I'm all over it. And that summer, I had told her to get me like a pillow, like a body pillow. Like I wanted somebody to slam around. I had friends around, and we would go around there, but not a lot of them were around during the summer. They were either biking or playing soccer or whatever. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna play by myself. I didn't have any siblings. Grew up as a single child with just me and my mom. So I took to the trampoline, just started rolling around, throwing the pillows down, acting like every single one of my wrestlers. Well, there was a chance that I may have did something so flashy that a spring of the trampoline came loose. And I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. And then 2 springs in the trampoline came loose. I said, I'm not going to worry about it. And then the next time I jumped big, it went through the dang trampoline. So during that time, my mom was furious. She's coming in and she said, hey, you're grounded. And I'm like, it's the summer. I'm only grounded when you're home, whatever. Well, the next day was SmackDown. And I told mom, hey, can I watch wrestling? She's like, no, you're grounded. And I was like, well, that's not going to stop me from wrestling when I get home. Had an attitude. She didn't like that. It's fine. Whatever. She gave me some words. So I was in timeout. But the next day she went to work and I biked on over to the dollar store and I got me a blank 6-hour tape with some black electrical tape because we had a VCR and a deep shelf. And if I pushed the VCR back enough and covered up the light, she wouldn't know that I was recording SmackDown. So we did that, and I was like the nicest kid that night. I was like, Mom, let me help you with work. Let me help you with food. Let me do some laundry. Let's sit and watch Lifetime movies all night. She knew what was up. So
right.
So the next day, I'm sitting on the TV eating cereal, and that's the SmackDown that the Big Show and Brock Lesnar broke the ring.
Oh my God. So you can't keep that quiet.
I was at that superstitious time where I'm just like, oh man, I did that the other day. I did it with a pillow. I did it to Mr. Pillow. I broke the ring, trampoline. They broke the ring. I broke wrestling. It's like kind of that.
You discovered it.
Of like, hey, my car's dirty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wash it. And like a minutes later, it starts raining. That's how I felt. And I'm like, okay, this is as real as can get. And that is like the first time I was like, this is real. Everything the game is not for play. And that's as far as a fan goes, that's what got me to love wrestling in that aspect. And I've always loved it for the family get-togethers and go-arounds, but that hit me personally. And it was just a small thing as a kid, breaking the trampoline because the pro athletes decided to break the ring. So I thought I was pretty cool for a little bit until my mom, got on to me for that too. So it's okay.
That is a crazy time to be a fan too. Like,
oh yeah,
that's peak SmackDown.
I think that was just transitioning from the attitude to the ruthless aggression, and it was just picking back up, and it was different. And when my family would watch, they were commenting on, hey, this is edgier, this is more adult. We like this wrestling. So I started my wrestling in the Attitude Era and just grew up, didn't really know what was going on, just didn't really see that as like a different era. I just saw that as pro wrestling.
Right.
My first transition of the difference in how wrestling came about from era to era was Attitude to Ruthless Aggression. And I saw more of the athleticism when it comes to wrestling. The storytelling wasn't as edgy, it was more dramatized. And there were a lot of guys out there that were just like, hey, give me a chance to shine. And it was just something new that even my family didn't see. So they were the ones that pointed it out. And that's when I started really getting down to, okay, let's look at Kurt Angle. Let's look at Edge. Let's look at John Cena. Let's look at these guys who aren't in the Attitude Era that didn't really come up that are making a name for themselves in this one.
Okay. I dig that. So I've seen you live. Like, you're a really athletic guy in the ring. What's your athletic background? Was it you're focused on wrestling, or did you play a sport? Or
so I will say that I didn't get into my wrestling training until 2020. That is when I decided that I wanted to get in to be a wrestler.
Seriously?
Yes, but I've always been.
You look like really polished. Like you look like a veteran.
Oh, I appreciate that. You hear that? You hear that? Promoters out there. But no, as far as my background, basketball was my first sport. I think I started whenever I was 5 or 6, and I played all the way up until my senior year of high school, and I maybe only missed a couple of years. I played football from 6th grade until my high school year. I was on varsity for 3 years, but I was also in band. I was a band kid. I did band for the whole time for high school. So I was doing marching and football. So my 2-a-days were actually 3-a-days. And on the games, I didn't have any halftime. I just went straight to the field and then right back to the sidelines. But whenever I graduated high school going into college, I didn't play college ball because I got my scholarship in band. So I went outside of college and I played flag football and semi-pro football here in Central Texas. Mm-hmm. And I was either a running back, a tight end, or a defensive lineman. Everyone's like, oh, you played O-line. I don't know how to block. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about protecting anybody. All I know is to run through people. I also, in high school, I ran track. I don't really remember doing anything but maybe a discus event here or there, but it was just mostly the 100 and the 200, and I was all about the sprints. I couldn't really last like the 400 or the 800 or whatever you want to call it. Just give me sprints. Let me just get my speed and
Knock
get
this out real quick.
And nobody really wanted to mess with me because they were like, "Oh, this big man coming fast. We got to get out of his way." But
True.
I was in band for 12 years. That's really where I got most of it. I went to school here in Hardin-Simmons and Abilene, and we're more of a performance band. And that's where I really dug into more of a personality and trying to get me as a person out there as saying, oh, I have this platform. I'm out here with all these guys in yellow shirts and purple ties and a cowboy hat. I'm just going to go all out, and I'm just going to hoot and holler. I'm going to do everything I want to do, because that's exactly what the cowboy band was there for. And my last year, I was a drum major, and I had fun. I had so much fun. That's really, I developed my personality within a performance space. But I was also in ballet for 3 years and hip hop for 2. That was a lot of my out branch of college. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop extracurricular activities. When one was done, I was like, I got to get into something else. So it was really fun. I think I have to thank ballet in general, because I probably wouldn't be as agile if
I was gonna say that, because for anybody who's watched you in the ring, like you're a big guy, yes, but you're very graceful. I wouldn't have picked that up until you said ballet. Like now it makes sense.
I don't believe in keeping secrets, keeping like, oh, this is my fancy time. No, if you want to go be big and agile, go ballet.
I get that. So who do you model your wrestling style after?
So growing up, I didn't have a particular wrestler that I was like, this is me.
I want to be like.
I was taking every form of everything. I was just enjoying it as like growing up and having the action figures and just going on and putting on the little ring that it comes with and saying, I want this person to this person, or I saw this person, this is how I would do it. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I saw it on TV, and I said, hey, what would happen if Rey Mysterio faced John Cena? And then that would happen. And what happened if Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker had a not ladder match? Like, what would happen? So I'm just in my head, just doing everything, and that's really got me by. Those rugs that had the cars, the car roads on it. It was just action figures and cars. That was it for me growing up. Whenever I was in high school, I think I was just I tried to catch when I could. I was just busy with so many extracurriculars. In college, I was still busy with everything, but not a moment goes by whenever you're flipping through the channels, and this was before streaming got big, that wrestling wasn't on, whether it be on ESPN highlights or it was something, a special on like a documentary on HBO, or even Raw is consistent, SmackDown flip-flopping all over the place. But either way, you're still looking at wrestling. And then Ring of Honor locally, that's whenever I got eyes on that, is because I was flipping through it, didn't know what Ring of Honor was. And that was in the early, maybe I want to say 2011, 2012. Ring of Honor, and then whenever Lucha Underground, I think I started getting into that in 14 or 15. But I've always been a fan, and I just, whenever I decided I wanted to do something with wrestling, it was 2020, and that's when I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, who am I going to look at? So then I'm watching it, and I'm really diving into it, and I actually got wind of Keith Lee and Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, and those were more the modern style of like, hey, if I was a wrestler, I see them kind of doing things, I can do things like that. But back in the day, it was probably Bam Bam Bigelow. I didn't watch him too much growing up, but anytime I look for like big men stuff, even now, just to try to see like, what can I do? What makes sense for me to do? If I see like a Michael Schaefer is a great example at MPX, because he's big.
Definitely.
And he's athletic, and it's like, okay, I don't want to be Michael Schaefer. I still want to be DL Hartley. What can I do that Schaefer can't do? And we haven't run into each other yet, but I think that face-to-face would be interesting in the coming days. But I started just looking at stuff, and honestly, the sleeper for me is Kane, because if you go back and look at some of Kane's matches, if you strip it down from the mask and the attire, and you see him just be a wrestler, he is very agile, very athletic for his size, and not a lot of people will look at that. It's just, hey, let's be a big monster. In the Ruthless Aggression era, he was really, really like technical with what he was doing. Not too much to where he was like a Chris Jericho or Eddie Guerrero in that sense, but he could go. And
He
not a lot
made
of
you
people.
believe he was a legitimate threat.
Oh yeah, and
Anytime
I don't think it was to be undershadowed by anything the Undertaker was doing. It was just not a lot of people had eyes on Kane.
No, I agree with that. I agree completely with that, because one of my favorite matches ever, it doesn't get enough light, and that's Undertaker versus Kane at WrestleMania 20. I think that's one of the best matches I've ever seen.
I think it was also due to the drama and the storyline with everything, and it was from the very beginning of when Kane actually came into the business. You had it kind of drove all off that road a little bit, kind of took some pit stops, but rest areas, but it came back. And if you followed that whole story, there was something meaningful about that match whenever it came down to brother versus brother. In our heads, just like we all have those guys that we're close to that we call brothers, and we always want to be the better man. But this was a little bit deeper, a little bit more tied into it. So I can agree with your stance on that.
Yeah, exactly. What keeps your interest in the event? I'm sorry, in the industry, even when you're not performing? Because like I said, when we opened the show, like even when you're not performing, I see you there. Like this past weekend, I was at MPX. I was at the Purge. Great event, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
That event was an absolute banger.
Yes.
And I see you at the Purge, but you're not performing. You're a spectator. Like, to me, that's like real student of the game stuff. Like, you're studying. Like, even when you're not there, you're there, but you're taking account everything that's happening. But I seem to notice that with you, because you were Wrestle Revolver. There was a couple other MPX events I seen you at, and I was like, this guy's everywhere. Like,
you say that I'm everywhere. People still think that I live in the DFW area. I don't.
I know.
I still live in Abilene. My home is in Abilene, in the 325. I'm still making those drives. But what keeps my interest in the business is the boys. And boys is gender neutral. My buddies on the indies, BOI boys.
Yep.
And I'll just go and support them. The ones that I have love and admiration for, they're doing big things. And I've met some fantastic people over the years. And just about 2.5 years doing this, I've met some fantastic people. But I will treat those guys that will show me the same love and admiration. I will show them as much support and love as I can. And I can be taken back and become a fan again. But now I'm a fan of my friends. I'm a fan of my peers. I'm a fan of the guys that I've been in the ring with. And I'm so proud of them just by sitting and watching. And I will cheer as much as I can. And I will boo somebody to their face, because I can do whatever I want to as a fan. What you gonna do? You can't touch me. Maybe if I get booked and we're across the ring from each other, that's another thing. They'll probably remember that.
Right.
But, man, just having these guys just go out there and perform, and having those same goals and those same motivations and drives and dreams that I have, that's exactly what keeps me going. That's why I keep driving. That's why I keep supporting. And I know that they'll do the same for me whenever I'm in there. So it's definitely a two-way street.
Dude, that's awesome of you. It really is, because like I said, the Purge if it's on Twitch, I need you guys to go to Twitch and subscribe to MPX Wrestling and watch this event, because it was an absolute banger. But you have guys like that, and then there's you off in the corner. I'm looking at you more like almost as much as I'm looking at.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm always dancing, because some of these guys that I don't like, they really have some banger music, and I'm over here just
they do,
and it's nice. And it's like and someone's looking at me, why you dancing? It's like, look, I can like the music and not like the dude. I'm sorry, I'm just dancing over here having a good time.
So. I'm sorry. Aaron Eagles, his entrance alone is like worth the price of admission.
I will agree.
I'm like, every time it's like I can't help myself. Like, I've added it to my playlist. Admittedly, because I'm like, it's not because I like the song, it's because Aaron Eagle made it.
I might have a few tracks on my workout playlist from some of the boys. I might have something.
Yeah. That's so. Excluding your own, who's your favorite entrance music right now?
My favorite entrance music. I don't want to go to default for Mac franchise. I don't want to go default, but I think it's just the way he comes out and the way he just gets into it. I think he came out to Black and Yellow whenever I first started with Rampage, and that's my home promotion, Rampage Wrestling in Lubbock. And whenever he came out to that, I'm like, okay, you know what it is, Black and Yellow. And he came out to make way for the King, and I'm just like, oh, we're gonna spice it up a little bit, give you more solidarity. But I think it's just the way he comes out and hypes everything. That's I'm just getting back there, getting into it, and that's the first time. If anybody's like, hey, what's your favorite? I'm biased. Max Franchise is my boy, so I gotta go with him.
Oh man! Now you mentioned your wrestling promotion. What is the name of it?
Rampage Wrestling in Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, that's you. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Dude, they put out some bangers. You put out some bangers.
Yes.
You're underrated, Hartley. What the heck?
Rampage Wrestling, West Texas. Two things. We got an event coming up. I will promote August 5th in Abilene, Texas. And that's going to be the next one. We have some guys out here that when West Texas, there's only a few promotions there, and it's not as big as a network as East Texas and Southeast Texas is. But man, these guys have a lot to prove and a lot to give. Just West Texas wrestling in general.
No, really. Lubbock is becoming like that hub out there too. So yeah, you're right. But yeah, I didn't know that was you, dude. Yeah. There's some bangers coming out of there.
Oh yeah. Trust me, I'm promoting them as much as I can. I always promote the boys as well as I can on my socials. So continue to follow me. You'll get some bangers in there.
Oh, definitely. All right, who's your favorite opponent and why?
So I have two, and there's reasons why. So I'm staying at home on these. The first is Axel Savage. He is the Rampage Wrestling champion. I would say he's face of Rampage at the moment. But the reason why it's Axel Savage is because me and him we trained the most. Whenever I was starting out, I was making those 2.5-hour drives to Lubbock every Saturday to train for 4 or 5 hours, because that was kind of the big group when it came to learning everything.
Right.
The head trainer there is Eric Grayson, and that's the first time I met everybody at Rampage. And the first one that got my eye was Axel Savage, and it was just the way how professional he was, how bare bones he was, and he was the first one to kind of come at me and say, "Hey, you're doing this wrong. Do this. Hey, do this instead. Hey, why are you doing this?" Like, he wasn't afraid to like back down and tell you what was up.
Right.
And it wasn't like in a hey, listen to me point. It was like he wanted to better you, and it took me a while to understand that. I was like, I just got here. Why are you telling me to do something? Let me learn. But man, we finally had our first one-on-one match at the Comic-Con last month, and I'll tell you, it was the most nervous I've been in so long. And mind you, I've had around 50 matches then. But looking over at somebody who I have trained with, who I have had talks with, and it was more of an emotional and mental strain in my mind. I'm like, okay, I have to do everything that I have learned. I want to show this man who's also helped train. Like, I want to give him the best competition that I can. I want to show him what's up. And then when I was in that ring, I was just nervous in my mind. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Deep breaths. And he saw me. And as soon as the ref told me I'm ready, I said, I'm ready. And he said, he's ready. He gave me a smile. And all he had to do was smile at me. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go. I think I can do this. I think I can win. I didn't. But at the time, I thought I could. But like after the match, like we had a hug in the middle of the ring, and we said, thank you, brother. And everything, all those nerves just kind of like came down on me. And it was just because he helped in my beginning training so much to develop like it just the basics, how to actually be a performer and to be storytelling, not so much what the moves are, high spots or whatever, but to be a professional in the wrestling business.
Right.
So he was more of the mental, emotional reason. Now, back to Mac franchise. That's why I'm supporting him here. He is my boy. He is the one that pushes me so much. And the reason why we push each other to the limits is because we're so similar. We have the same background when it comes to sports. We're into the music, the shows, just the personalities there too. It's just like, let's just feed off each other's energy and off of each other's excitement. And even when we go out there, I want to say it's kind of one and the same, but it's not. He has his most intricate, like he's more technical, he's more sound. He's strong. That man is strong. I'm actually more the quick and agile type. He's just really solid and stern. But
right.
When we go out there, we're both big, we're both athletic. Our unofficial official team name is Too Bad. Two big athletic dudes. If anybody wants to book me in the active franchise, but we go out there and we just have a lot of energy, have a lot of fun, and me and Mac push each other to our limits because that's what I was talking about earlier. The brother, to say, hey, you can do this, but this is what I can do.
Right.
Oh, bet you can't do that.
Like one-upsmanship.
Yeah, always one up, but it's always respect at the end. There was one instance where I weighed in. I put this on Facebook. I weighed in that morning at 324, right? 324. I was a pound off. I couldn't do anything. I was like, I'm coming out here at 324, not 325 like I'm supposed to. Mac, I'm sorry. I'm gonna beat you down however I can. And I was a little mean that time, but it's all love. It's all love with Mac. And like every time we get in the ring, it's one up. We're gonna do what we can. I wouldn't be surprised if we knew each other like the back of our hand and just pulling out everything. But those two have really kind of molded me into my first years getting here and moving down to training in East Texas. I bring everything that I've learned with them in Rampage Wrestling, try to bring it down to everywhere I go. And I mean, there might be something that people don't know about West Texas that I can bring a little flavor to.
No, I like that because it's authentic. Like you do come off as authentic. And it's unique to another area. So I like that you actually do that. But you also mentioned something that I wanted to touch on too. The chemistry of it all is how important is that for any wrestler to have that chemistry?
I will say that I haven't been in the ring with somebody that I just downright disrespect or downright don't like. Right. I have always had some admiration for somebody. I've always had the inkling of like, I know who you are. I've seen you around. Let's see what we can get into. It just like it's a first meeting on a handshake. It's, are you going to overpower me with that handshake? Are you going to be light? Are you going to match my energy? Are you going to look into my eyes? Are you going to cuss my elbows? Like, what are you going to do in that handshake? So then that first meeting on, if I'm going up and just like, all right, looks like we're going to put on a match. Let's see who the competitor is, see who comes out. But I got something in store for you. And as long as we go out there and we're confident in each other's abilities, then I don't see where the chemistry won't be there. Like I'm always going to be wanting to not be the big man, I would say.
Right.
And to show my quickness and my agility. And that's what kind of throws some people. Like they don't see me coming a lot.
Right.
But the ones that do are the ones that have studied me and probably do the same thing that I do, go to shows and watch matches and study around and just, hey, I saw that coming. You got to do something else. And that's whenever you got to start thinking. That's whenever you got to start thinking, how am I going to one up this guy? I guess I got to throw you around now. I was being nice. I was just running you over. Now I got to throw you.
Right. Okay, I get that. So as a performer, what was your favorite wrestling moment? We had the fan earlier, and yes. Let's bring it to the performer side. Okay,
performing. Bringing it home again, because I'm not going to stop talking about Rampage. My bitter enemy turned. I'm still here. We had a little bit of respect and a little bit, but I'm still here. I had a match with Ryder Cage, and it was my first no rules match. And there were trash can and kendo sticks and of the like, but there was also a scooter involved and some Legos. And I had so much fun in that match because not only did I get to give a superplex to Mr. Ryder Cage on top of some Legos, the crowd was just into it, so into it, and so dry, like they were just immersed in what I was doing. I pulled out a scooter, and the cats went crazy. I was just riding it in there, swinging it like I wanted to. I was just having fun, and I was feeling all the energy from the fans. They were having it too, and we've all at some point stepped on a Lego. Some may know, like taking a scooter to the shin, like what that would be. So I wanted to bring that in. Like, hey, I want you to feel what I want him to feel. And after that superplex, I landed on the Legos too, and it was not fun at all. But looking into the audience and seeing them like disgust and pain and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's worth it. But I'm just like, no, it's not. But yeah, it is. But no, it's not. So in that moment, just having fun, but also like teaching one of my rivals a lesson. Like, go ahead. Like it was a very fun moment. Very good. I still got beat with a chair. He didn't like that, so I got beat with a chair all the whole night. But I gave it back to him later on.
Awesome. I was going to ask you that because those matches look like they hurt. Like a regular like just body slam or just falling hurts. But how painful is that? But you're also having fun, so
it's like the adrenaline and the fun. But after a while, just now you got me thinking it, and I'm just like, no, don't let me. Like my eyes were just like, no, please. But I mean, I went through Legos, and I've been through Legos and tacks, and there are some I don't know what the stature is. I don't know what's worse than the other. I think it's just the situation. I slammed him on Legos. He slammed me on tacks. To me, they both hurt. I think it was just the sharpness of the tacks, the initial, but the Legos stay with you. I don't know what.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
I know. I'm over here like like my kid still has Legos, and like if I step on one, it's like but getting slammed on Legos.
Oh yeah, no thank you. I did it to prove a point. I'm not going to prove that point again unless I have to. I really don't want to have to. I really don't.
All right, so let's start talking future.
Okay.
Who is your dream opponent, and where would you like to have this match?
Okay. I had a podcast with her name's Christy, author Christy. I have it on my page, and I had talked about Keith Lee, and I had talked about the Tokyo Dome, but since the recent conjoined match with MPX and Wrestling Revolver, and Keith Lee took on one of MPX's own, Aaron Eagle, in Texas.
Yes.
That changed some things for me. It changed me to think about Texas versus Texas. It changed me to think about the 325 versus Limitless. It took me to why can't Keith Lee versus DL Hartley happen in Texas? Once I saw that match and what was possible, me at Wrestle Revolver, looking at somebody that I style after, somebody that I admire for being the big agile man, with somebody so close to home, why can't that happen? So
you did see Aaron Eagle after this. You've seen his eye, right? Like
I'm gonna have to get on the ball. I know what I'm gonna have to put in. I know what I'm gonna have to do to get prepared for it. And if that opportunity comes, I want to be ready for it. And that's my forefront. And that's I get goosebumps talking about it, just because it could be possible one of these days. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but one of these days.
Let's manifest this.
Honorable mention Kiefer Bartek and Abilene, because he is from Abilene. So just want to put that into the universe.
All right, well, let's put them both in the universe. let's get Keith Lee Hartley in a ring in Texas. If we could do this somewhere close, we could let's make it happen.
Make it happen, yeah.
let's make this happen. I would like that match. I think that match would be a banger. Yeah, honestly.
So I would be probably more nervous than dropping and everything that I was sweating my match with Axel Savage. But man, coming full circle about just how I started the business and who I looked up to, who I idolized, who I wanted to kind of strive to be and kind of be a little bit step above. Yeah, Keith Lee would be up there with me.
Awesome, man. Like, yes. So let's plan this for about 6 months down the road.
6 months. I'm gonna need a little bit more than 6 months. Well, yeah, I'll get you.
Life comes at you fast, Harley.
It does. It does.
Got to be ready. Let's get this ready. But yeah. shout out to Keith Lee, man. Wrestle Revolver was a movie too.
That I'm glad that I was there. I was working security because I felt like, you know what, there's just gonna be some big names, these big boys. Yep. You kind of need a big boy to hold it down a little bit. Let me do some work there. Let me be security officer. I'll be the personal, like, hey, don't get close. You got your badge on you? You got your wristlets? If not, go buy me a drink and I might let you sit here. But drink is a Dr. Pepper. There was no alcohol involved, Dr. Pepper. But that match, I typically kind of like to sit down at some matches, just keep my feet at rest. I probably could if I asked, but I couldn't physically keep my body still just to watch. Like I was moving and jiving, and I was like, I just have to see everything. I got it close a little bit because I was concerned I was doing my duties as trying to keep everybody away from that barrier. But I was eyes locked onto the product. Those matches, the storytelling, everything about that night was so phenomenal.
Yes.
They said they were coming back. I'll work the show.
I want them to come back.
I'll be a fan. They can take my money. I'll sit there and I will support everybody that's in there. Shout out to the Children of the Scorn.
Yes.
Because that was real nice. A real good display of just bare bones tag team wrestling from MPX. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody. MPX, Wrestle Revolver. Shout out to everybody that did that event. Shout out to MPX too, because they came out of that into a nice show afterwards too. So you could tell it left an imprint on everybody that performed because a lot of the people that performed there performed at the Purge. And it was just like a carryover, just like it's like a light switch went off, like we got it, you know. And
that's part of the reason I train with MPX. I try to go up there at least once a week. Not this week because I am doing an evening shift for one of my employees who's on vacation, so I can't really get out there as much as I want. But I put in the work here. But anytime I go in there, it's just the solidarity on learning from the coaches at MPX is like well-rounded, and so many people are there at MPX because they want that knowledge. They want to learn from the highest level to the indie level. You get all the rounds and just the opportunities that MPX now has proven the opportunities if you go there and if you give them their time, your attention, and the abilities that you have to take the time to train with them and to work with them, anything could happen.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be shocked if I see a bunch of you guys that train there like at the next level soon, because it's there. The proof is there. So I'm always entertained when I watch you guys. I want to see you all get better, and I will not be shocked to see a good portion of that roster. I haven't seen everybody yet because otherwise I would say the entire roster is going places, but I haven't seen everybody in action yet. But for everybody that I've seen, like, I will not be shocked to see them at the next level. So shout out to MPX. And thank you for that. Because that was a good bit.
Yeah.
All right. So what does the rest of 2023 look like for you?
Have some matches for Rampage Wrestling. It's going to be in Abilene on August 5th, in Lubbock on September 2nd, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be in Seymour. I forgot about Seymour. Seymour is going to be on August 19th, and then we'll come back to Abilene on November 18th, and we're going to be in Odessa on September 23rd. So a lot of those dates for Rampage. I will be at Metroplex Wrestling again in August. Hopefully, I will get that date soon. I just know August, so be on the lookout. I'm hoping very soon. I'm hoping not on the dates that I'm with Rampage, so hopefully the 12th. That's what I'm hoping for. Manifesting the 12th. And then I'm going to be making my debut on September 16th for Gladiator Championship Wrestling. Okay. So that's going to be good. And I will be at the Texas-Oklahoma Fair for Wichita Falls Wrestling Association from September 12th through the 15th. And that's just an event where we're conjoined with the Texas-Oklahoma Fair. Every match between like I guess on the half hour there's a match, so it's kind of like all day thing to go out and enjoy along with the fair. So I'm going to eat good. I'm definitely going to reach 325 if I have to, but I'll be doing that. I'm still trying to figure out some more contacts with other promoters just to see where I can go for the rest of the year. The year's halfway over, and I've done a lot, and I want to do a lot more.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, Wichita, you said this is the Texas Oklahoma Fair, right?
Yes. Yes.
September 12th through the 15th. I may maybe make that. And you said
sure?
they do matches all day there?
There's a couple of hour block. I want to say 2 or 3 hour block. I would say every 30 minutes, but I'm thinking like once a match ends, you have like a 15 to 20 minute break period so that everybody can enjoy the fair and go look at the cars and look at the other events and then come back to wrestling. But it's usually about 3 or 4 hours just going in and just taking care of matches. And they're I don't know who's going to show up. I have no idea. It's just people from Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, somebody from Montana came down. It's just everybody's just getting that opportunity to go out, and I'm happy to network, happy to work with those guys. I have no idea what's in store for me, and I think that's what it's exciting about it.
Okay. Nice. All right, so I'm going to try to make that, actually.
Very good. Everybody there, you should try to make that. It's a little bit of a drive. I can drive 2.5 hours to go to Dallas. Everybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area can drive 2.5 hours.
Yes. I believe I can make this happen.
Also, there's a cereal bar in Wichita Falls. Shout out to Maniac Mansion. Love it. I get the waffle crisp, and I mix it in with French Toast Crunch, and then put some whipped cream on it with some cinnamon. Oh, your cereal game will change. Go to Maniac Mansion.
That sounds very sinful. Also, I like it. What's the name of this place?
Maniac's Mansion.
Maniac's Mansion. I'm only getting this information because my brother lives in Wichita Falls, and I've never heard of this place.
No.
So he has some explaining to do.
Yes, he does.
What? You had me a waffle crisp. What?
That changed the cereal game for me, and cereal to me is a whole nother topic. But the one thing I will say is that name brand cereal doesn't taste right to me because I've always had off brand cereal growing up. So I'd rather take Fruity Dino Bites over
the bag.
Fruity Pebbles. Like Fruity Pebbles stuff tastes like cardboard. Fruity Dino Bites, that's where it's at. Go get some Fruity Dino Bites.
Yes. You know which ones I like. We're going off the rails.
Oh yes, sorry about that. If y'all want an extra podcast, he gonna put it on his Patreon. We're just gonna talk all day about cereal snacks.
Yes.
You got to pay for that.
The off-brand Fruity Pebbles are actually better than the Fruity Pebbles to me. I don't know why this is, but give it to me in the bag, and I will enjoy.
I need the big 64-ounce bag.
Yes.
Whole small box.
Yes. The super-sized bag. Yes. That's like my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
But yes, I will gladly. But yes, I have to talk to my brother. This is ridiculous. Maniac Mansion. Oh, it has my heart right now. All right. So, all right. Before we get out of here, I mentioned before we came on the air that we have a game that we play. Okay. Also had a streak that we had, but Kaimi, who was a guest on the show, broke that streak.
Kaimi?
So, yeah.
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Shout out to him.
I gotta tell him happy birthday.
Absolutely.
He's an awesome young man. I like him.
Yeah, he is.
All right, I gotta tell him happy birthday. But all right, so we're gonna play a game called Either Or.
Oh man.
I'll say it.
Let me get a little close. Either or. All right.
Either or. I'll say it. I'll say two names, and you say either or, and then at the last, there's gonna be a topic. All right. And I'll say either or for that one.
Okay.
All right. So, first question, and you're a Texas guy, so I made this a Texas question specifically around that area. So, The Undertaker or Shawn Michaels?
Why you gotta do that to me? Why you gotta do that? Oh boy.
I like these.
We're just strictly talking about. Okay, so I know more of. No, I kind of know the history of both of them. So, Shawn Michaels has been known to be around more West Texas than anywhere. So as far as touching on home base with Shawn, but I think I've just had access and more knowledge of the Undertaker's, the background, the stories of like how he became from Texas Red to the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels has kind of just been Shawn Michaels throughout this entire life. I mean, he's always been flashy, always been Shawn Michaels. He's never had to really be anything other than Shawn Michaels. But I think that just iteration of Undertaker going through all of these changes, not because he had to, he just Undertaker, he didn't have to do anything, but just because he made it work. I feel like he was just bored one day and like, hey, I want to get on a bike and ride around a little bit. Okay, cool. You made that happen. You made that work.
You made the American Badass.
A lot of people don't like the American Badass Taker, but I really have that iteration. I'm just gonna have to go with Taker. I really am. Just for the easy fact of me knowing a little bit more, him having a little bit more access to, or me having more access to see what he was about. Now there was a lot of drama and storytelling with Shawn Michaels. Whenever he had in matches, he poured his heart and soul into everything that he did. And Undertaker was just like, hey, this is me. This is what I can do. And like, man, now you're going both. We can do both ways. We can go both. This how you get us. This how you get the West game. This how you get us. But we'll just say Undertaker. That's what we're going. That's going to be my answer right there.
That would have been my answer too, Undertaker. And probably for the exact same reason that you said. Shawn Michaels, probably one of the best performers in the history of the business. Very entertaining, natural, long career. But the evolution of The Undertaker and how he was able to stay relevant for 30 years, even up into his last match, which I hope that's not his last match. I hope they give him, like, just give me somebody, like, give me like a 5-minute match.
Leave that man alone.
Not just give me a proper
stare down a shark.
Man.
That was his last match. That stare down with the shark.
Give me a proper send off. Like,
the shark said nope.
I get it. COVID happened. You had to do the cinematic match. I get it, but
I loved it.
But I would love for like one last time. Just give me something short, sweet. He wins, send off, like, and let me cry. That's all I want.
I cried so much. No, I've already cried enough for the Undertaker. I don't want to cry no more.
All right. All right. Next up. These kind of get harder. The Rock or John Cena?
All right. Why you gotta do that? Okay, so I will say that I grew up with the Rock more than I did with Cena, only because my cousin and my uncle had the box sets of the Electrifying Man, The Rock, the DVD box sets, or I guess the VHS box sets at that time. And then had the blue Brahma Bull with the Rock T-shirt, so I had that too. And then there was a Rock poster, so I had more of the Rock on everything. And then movies, always seeing the Rock, seeing him evolve through the movies, and then going back to WWE, bringing that Hollywood persona back to WWE. And the matches that he had when he came back were not, I wouldn't say they were the classic typical Rock matches, because he wanted to do something different. He wanted to be that slide actively Dirty Dan heel. And it really resonated with me there. But if you're talking about longevity with what the business has, John Cena has that, because I think that he will go down as one of the greatest, especially with our generation, because he also had to evolve. He also had to step up, and he had to do the ridicule with being compared to The Rock so much, because he stayed in. He had the fans. He said, the people, that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to leave, but he left for Hollywood. He's making a name in Hollywood. He's a really great actor. He's getting everything and kind of going around that same path. But every time he comes back, it's just it's like he never left. That promo that he did at Money in the Bank was just so spot on, and I watched it knowing like, hey, I need to get my promo skills up, because if he can walk into an arena like that, shut them up for a little bit just by saying a few things and getting them hyped, the crowd control and the pops that he has just by being authentically himself is there. So I'm fighting myself. I really am, because if I was still a fan and not a performer, professional wrestler, I would say The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm still developing my own way, still trying to learn and still trying to focus on figuring out what works and what doesn't, John Cena is kind of the epitome of, if you kind of stick to it and you're confident and you know what works for you and you keep doing it, then everything's going to be great. So I'm going to pick John Cena.
Okay. I would have said The Rock. And the only reason I would say The Rock is because what you laid out, you kind of breaking my will to keep The Rock, but I'm gonna keep him.
All right.
You laid out a great case for John Cena. So I would say The Rock, but solely based on his career. If you go back and look at The Rock's career and the magnitude of which he just grew and grew and grew, that by the time he got to Toronto and in a ring with Hulk Hogan, there was nobody higher than him. Like, for a long time, the debate was Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, right? Which is the greatest superstar ever.
Right.
There was that period where The Rock just separated himself from everyone.
Right.
Much
now,
like
if you would have asked me that, I would have picked The Rock if you would have asked me that.
Right. So, like, he did. He separated himself from everybody, much like what Roman Reigns is doing today. Like, he's just separating himself from the pack. The Rock was that guy to do it then. Got into Hollywood, came back. The Hollywood Rock is so underrated, like, for what it did for everyone. Okay. The Rock concerts, like, are still iconic. I
think he was doing that for everybody else because he was doing so much for himself to break me out. Now he's like, all right, what can I give back? And he
right. So, and that would make me pick The Rock. But man, Cena, history will be very kind to John Cena.
Yes, it will.
The fans were not while he was around, but man, history is going to be very kind to John Cena.
So I will say, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion. Y'all probably going to unfollow me and probably dug me down. There was nothing wrong with Young Rock. It's fantastic.
The show?
I can learn something. The show. Everybody's talking.
Yes.
I am a professional wrestler. I am also a fan. Go watch Young Rock, especially if
Young Rock was so great.
It was. If you like Dwayne Johnson, I'll call him The Rock. Every time I'll correct anybody. He's like, Dwayne Johnson? No, you mean The Rock. Go watch that. Learn a little bit about the business. That and the heels. There's just, and I don't want to dog on anybody that. Thank you, Jeffy Jeff. I just saw that. I don't like dogging anybody in the business, but like it's cool to like wrestling. It's fine. There's nothing uncool about being a fan. There's nothing uncool about watching shows. Like I'll go back and, like, on COVID, I got COVID 3 times. 3 times, and one was before I started. His name is The Rock. I got COVID 3 times. Once was in 2019 when it first started, so that was before I started wrestling. And I watched all the Rock movies. I watched all Stone Cold movies. I watched some Batista movies. Like, why not? I watched these kids growing up Wow, I watched these guys growing up in the ring. Why can't I watch them on the big screen? So I'm not gonna be one of those guys where I'm not a fan. I watch wrestling. I watch my boys. I watch wrestling to study. I watch wrestling to be a fan. There's nothing wrong with watching and liking wrestling. People need to put. And I don't have anybody to name specifically because it's just me reading things on social media. Right. And some of these guys, I don't recognize anybody from Texas, but there's some out of state guys that are just like, I don't watch wrestling. I don't play wrestling. I am a wrestler. I'm like, we're not play wrestling. Like, what happens when you're growing up playing football? What do? You study film on the other team. You study film from the big leagues. Whenever even whenever you're studying, like, hey, I'll be a first to admit whenever it came to Keith Lee, I was like, all right, what can Keith Lee do that I can do better? What can Keith Lee do that I can't do? Like, it's not a bad thing to be a fan. It's not a bad thing to watch these things. Just go like wrestling. We're in the business for a reason.
It's study.
All of it.
It's like you don't grow not studying. Like, that's anything.
Yeah.
So wrestling is different. So studying makes you better.
Yeah. Do you think I'm just gonna go to random wrestling shows and just shout Cavens to the air? Cavens. So no, I mean I am, but I know that if me and Cavens, he's so small and so quick and so fast.
Oh man.
He gonna show me things. I need to be ready for him. That's why I go to study. I'll be ready for all my opponents just in case something were to happen.
I gotta get Cavens on here. I gotta get him on here. Cavens. Like, that is the most it is the most catchy thing out right now.
Okay. I will say one thing. I made if y'all follow me on socials, on Facebook, I made a thing where it started out with one person saying Cavens on a post. And it blew up. And I had to scroll. And all I saw was Cavens. And then Baracho Pro put out a flyer that said Cavens.
Yep.
This man got over by shouting his name.
Yes.
That was it.
That's it.
And we go back and forth. And again, him promoting his brand is making us cheer for him, is making us have fun, is making us enjoy professional wrestling. It's okay to enjoy professional wrestling.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. All right, last question. And this is the one. This is the one that I had a streak going. I'm going to see if I have another one. You ready?
No. Go ahead.
Face or heel?
For anything?
Would you rather be a face?
No, I'm not heel. I'm a baby. I'm a baby all day, every day. Baby. I'm a cheer. I'm a dance. I'm a scream. I can't be mean. Look at me. I can't. I can try, but I apologized to Mac earlier by punching him in the face in the chain. I'm like, hey, sorry, Mac. I blame it on. I was hungry. Okay, when I'm hungry, that might be a different story. But it's just not. I'm me. I'm authentically me, no matter where I go, no matter who I'm with. I wasn't raised to be anything I'm not. My mom would beat me 10 million times over if I wasn't just true to myself. And I am true to myself. I don't hold grudges against anybody. I don't have vendetta against anything. Like, I am genuinely me. So when you see the ring, when you see people in the ring, you wonder, how are they like in real life? I don't see the point in being anything I'm not. When I'm in the ring, I'm me, turned up to 11, turned up to 12, turned up to 32.5. Whatever. It's me. But I get to be on a stage to perform and have fun while also being competitive and showing people, hey, I am here. I am here for a reason. I am a professional wrestler. There is a reason why I do what I do. And it's because of my love for professional wrestling, my love for being a performer, to being a storyteller, and just to have the crowd suspend everything. No, you don't ever know what's going to happen. You never know what's going on. Wrestling could be somebody's escape. Wrestling could be somebody's go-to, where if they had a bad day, but they know they're about to buy a ticket for that wrestling show, or it's a Friday and they see a show 4 hours away on Saturday saying, hey, I had a crappy day at work. I'm just going to get up in my car. I'm going to drop the tunes. I'm going to go watch wrestling because wrestling makes me happy. You never know what's going to happen at all. And if I can bring some of that energy and some of that positivity through my matches and through my energy to the fans, then there was a reason why they bought the ticket. There was a reason why they went to go see us. And if they didn't get anything out of it from me, if I'm on one of the shows that they bought a ticket to, then I didn't do my job. And I will leave going, man, little Timmy in the crowd was crying. I should have just gave him a hug, but I couldn't. I'm not going to give him a hug. I'm going to give somebody else a hug and I'm going to slam him. That's going to make Timmy feel better. So it's anything that I can do for the people that support me, for the people that come out and give us their hard-earned cash, their time that they might not have, and their efforts for driving. I know of somebody personally who had a busted radiator and a flat tire just to go to one of the shows. Not any show that I was on, but because they wanted wrestling, they wanted to escape. It was like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happening, and it kept happening until he got to the show. And once he got to the show, he became a fan. He sat down, he watched wrestling. Somebody pointed out to him, and maybe not even on purpose, but just pointed at him and said, "Hey, thanks for coming. Hey, you're great." Just interacting. And that person had such a good time. He didn't care that he had to buy a tire. He didn't care that he had to spend money to stay at a hotel to get his car fixed, to go home and work the next day. He was suspending everything that he could just to be happy for a little bit. And it's times like that where if I'm involved, I really want that person to be able to do that without feeling like they didn't waste their time or money. Like, oh, that was awful. Why did I waste this money? Why did I waste my time there with crappy wrestling? And we've seen comments and we've seen posts about this match is horrible, or this person's bad, or why doesn't this person do anything anymore? I'm not worried about those people. I'm worried about the people that came, that want to disbelief, that want to be a fan, just as I am when I'm supporting my boys.
Right.
Just to be there and be immersed and to know and have that real emotions, those real feelings, those real and raw moments where, hey, I'm a fan. I'm going to go talk to my friends about this. I'm going to talk to my families about this and let them feel what I feel. Let them see what I see through me.
Right.
Those are the moments that I feel like, and I know that it was babyface thing. And I know it kind of tangent.
No, that's
me great. In my head is if I'm a heel, then something's got to happen. Something big has got to happen. So if you ever see me being not me, being mean 2-5 instead of 3-2-5, don't nobody moniker that. But it just means something. Maybe I got tired of it. Maybe somebody pushed the nerve a little bit too much. Someone pushed me a little bit. But I'm never not going to love this business, and I'm never going to not pour into it. But I will always pick baby no matter what. If you see me as a heel, something wrong, and check on me or something. Take me to the hospital, go give me some meds or something, make me be big and flamboyant 3-2-5 again.
Don't hold me to that, because like I'm the type of person that I'll be at a show, I'll be like, "What's wrong, man? How can I help you?" You don't have to do this.
Man, honestly, if I was, I probably wouldn't even be out. I'd probably just go home and be like, "No, not today. Not doing it today. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go do my own thing."
Oh man. Well, thank you for playing that, because this is probably the best one. I thought they get better. They get better as the guests come on. So Thank you for those answers, man. I appreciate that. So before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find your merch. Look, we already got a comment. Let us know where we can find your merch. I see you have some right there, right by you.
Right here.
So let us know where we can get it.
So this is my old shirt design. I will be coming on new shirts. I just got these Hartley 325 koozies, available in purple, pink, and black.
What?
Yeah, I just got them today. I got some wristbands, some nice little wristbands, purple and black. I'm getting some stickers. I'm getting some lanyards. I'm getting new shirts. This is my original only one-piece hat. So if somebody would make me an offer, I might let this go. But my merch is only available with me at the moment. Message me on Facebook. Do Facebook DL Hartley. Instagram at DL.Hartley. You can message me both there. If you are in any of the Texas, I would say Oklahoma area, just get at me. I'm probably going to be around somewhere. Go support the boys. If not, I'll ship for maybe a little bit extra. I'll ship a little bit. I'll write something nice. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what outlet I want to do for my merch. Right now, the options for me personally is to have everything on me at the moment. But
that's a smart option, actually.
And so I am going to some concerts. If y'all ever see me in a concert and be like, "Hey, that's Hartley," and be like, "Hey, I got some merch. You want to buy something or do something?" So I will be around.
All right. Well, man, listen, I don't want to keep you too long. We've had you here over an hour.
I don't want to keep you too long because I kept you, sir.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is an excellent interview, and I do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
And thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be on here. I am always excited to meet. I met you for the first time, my first night at MPX. And I always take you out of the crowd. You're always ready to have fun at wrestling events, and I appreciate you. Appreciate all your love and support for all of us.
I will support you guys always. So thank you. Thank you for everything. All right, man. So for everybody, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you
for all the comments. And hopefully, please go follow this guy. I'll put his information out there on the comments at DL Hartley on IG, DL Hartley on Facebook. Please go follow him. He is very much an entertaining guy and very much worth your time. So please go give him a follow.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Anybody else you want to shout out before we go off?
Oh, who did I shout out? Everybody. I think I shouted out everybody. If I didn't get you, it's not because I don't like you. It's because I still got to go to work. My employees probably still going to be like, what's going on? I'm still going to eat. If I haven't shouted out to you on Facebook, it's not because y'all haven't impressed me. I love all my boys. I love also the supporters. The fans are great too. I will go out there and be me to my best of my abilities, and I will support when I can. So if I haven't shouted out here, I apologize, but I know I will be shouting out to everybody in the future because I love wrestling. I love all of you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, which is tomorrow, but until next time, you guys have a good one. Peace.
You got Levi on the show, don't you, tomorrow?
Yeah, I have Levi Lucas on.
Levi Lucas, go watch his matches too, because he's damn good. I think that's the first time I cussed tonight. He's great. Particularly watch him and Elsie Mox. That just go ahead. There's about 2 shout outs.
Yes.
Levi Lucas.
Yes.
Elsie Mox. Go watch that.
All right, you guys. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
All right. Thank you.